Had to do it because it's a elk sausage pierogi. So, gotta give it a try. This is the morning you can wake up to. All you want, if you want to. This is the Yukon. This is near Teslin, or whatever it's called. Tell I'm kind of like in the RV section. Not a lot of darkness around here. I mean, it was it gets dark like 10 and the sun comes up at like 4, maybe a little bit before there. But it's really calm. Can have a fire. Most of the places out here are kind of like this. They're kind of a mixture of like camping, RV, and you can get a cabin if you want. Those are nice cabins. As it is, you're living completely off the grid. No Wi-Fi, no nothing. When I do camp, I prefer to do stuff like this, actual campgrounds, because just camping out there can be dangerous if like the wrong creature stumbles upon you. Here we do, just to give people a thing. I'm just gonna say this. I'm 6'3", and I think this is small. They're bigger. I've seen a couple and they're bigger. I'm just saying. They're definitely bigger. So peaceful. If you're curious how quiet it is, it's and I'm off. And well, besides my uncontrollable hair, really what it's gotten down to this point is it's been months and months and months since I've gotten a haircut. I mean, I started this journey well over 2 months ago. Might have almost been like, no, we're approaching 3 months, I think, at this point. So my hair was actually very long. And the other thing is, since I'm wearing a helmet most of the time, I spend very little time, if at all, worried about like styling it at all when I get up. And even when I get a shower, I don't really care too much because it's going to be under the helmet and it's just going to be matted down. So that kind of explains it. But that was a Teslin, and Teslin is just well, like a camping stop, really. I mean, there's a couple places or permanent settlements where people are dealing with gas for anyone who needs it, campgrounds. There's some hunting, some fishing that goes on. But for the most part, you're only talking maybe like 100, 200 people actually live in this town year round. I mean, obviously it actually swells during the summer because there's a whole lot more people and a whole lot more service to do. But then it dies down because it becomes pretty much just a no man's land during the winter. What ends up happening is just because of the road, the thoroughfare. You'll have basically just truckers and people who are using the road to get from A to B, because the road is open year round now, and they're just like basically the cabins and just like oil and gas, and you have truckers who will just park up and sleep. I mean, this actually sometimes gets massively congested. It did a couple times, especially on my way back, because I was actually fighting as everyone was coming into Alaska. See, this is still early enough that it's kind of Spartan in the fact that I'm headed towards Alaska so early in the season. It's later in the season. This highway actually gets mobbed. But outside of that, it's just look at the grandiose view and just sit back and enjoy. Not much to really say. Other than back there, yeah, I'm pretty sure the moose are taller than what they have it kind of carved into. I mean, I saw something like a moose shoulder blade can be 8 feet tall. So yeah, those are pretty big creatures. Filling up at fuel stations like this, they can't put it in the ground because of the permafrost. Permafrost is, well, permanent frost. I'll talk about that some other time, but there's like just sporadic people just living in different spots. These people are out in the middle of nowhere. It's great. Oh, it's awesome. If you want to get away from it all, this is all. Although I imagine the winters are pretty brutal. Oh, it's so fun just to see how different things is with all the gas tanks above the ground in order to make them safer. Oh, so great. Woo, the Yukon and the many bridges. The bridges are like wood or metal. They're not like the bridges, no concrete or any of that stuff. We are at a lock. I guess there's a dam or something here. A lot of fishing. They're actually building a whole lot in this area. There's a whole lot of like construction. Like people are building like inns on the lake for people to like relax and like fish or do outdoorsy thingies. Oh, it's so peaceful out here. You're definitely away from everything. Every internet connection sucks. I mean, if you're coming up here, you have to expect to be disconnected with the rest of society. I mean, even at these restaurants, you know, restaurants, like people stop and they sleep. Very little of like any kind of, very little enforcement of anything goes in here. They tell you, they don't say anything about like no overnight parking because no one's going to enforce it. Like, there's so many miles here, just unenforceable. So they kind of like accept that people are going to take their motorhomes, stop at these rest areas and sleep. I do like to differentiate it up. The one thing I should talk about here is permafrost. See, permafrost is actually exactly what it says, permanent frost. It's basically the ground frozen, and the ground is frozen year-round. In order to be permafrost, it has to be frozen for 2 years straight. If it thaws at all, it's not considered permafrost. Now that creates a lot of problems. If you bury the tanks, the ground can shift and whatnot and can cause problems with burying tanks. That's why tanks have to be above ground now. And also, apparently in the winter, they'll dump a whole lot of antifreeze in them. Even though it will ruin your engine, it will keep the gasoline from freezing. But that also creates huge problems when it comes to the road construction. You can't really, the road is constantly degrading because the ground can constantly thaw and freeze underneath it, which will make it like, make the base sturdy and unsturdy at the same time, at different times. So that's why the road constantly is under construction. They're constantly spending a small fortune constantly fixing this road. So that's that. Falls, just in the middle of nowhere, Yukon, where they've got an RV park and a store, a cafe, and this is just one of those stops on the Alaskan highway. You gotta love it. Look at this place. Look at this bike next to the mountains. Ooh, just a little bit ways. We're going into Alaska. This is the Alaska highway. Those two behind me are from Brazil. It's funny. It's like they can barely speak any English, but they can speak German, so we were able to communicate a little bit. Welcome. The chain glaciers, they call them. Icefield ranges, Canada's highest mountains, the immense ice fields, glacier valleys, blah 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 blah. 100 kilometers from here. Okay. First Nation traditional territory. Traditional territory. I'm in a national park reserve. Okay. With... oh no, I'm on the border of it, or something like that. Alright, whatever, I'm here for the scenery. But as it is, this is the Yukon. Gotta love it. At the end of this, I would just kind of stop off-road in a nice little campsite. I don't really have a name for it, but I was closing in on Alaska, and the following day, I would be getting in there. Ooh yeah, here we come.